still open, and we've seen that be a couple of picks that have been getting second round bans. As we move in later and later to the series, there are fewer and fewer top laners that people value quite as highly. So maybe Jax gets picked up. We've already seen it played by TheShy a couple of times as well, so could be one of those highly contested picks. The Victor, the pick that gets taken out by IG, so opting to not allow for Creme in that. There's a Lulu first pick.
Love that. I love that. And the thing is, this is something that me and Cubby talked about on our series of Thunder Talk and JDG. Once we got to the Game 4 possibilities, pretty much all of the staple support picks for tanks and engage are gone. No Leona, no Nautilus, no Rel. And so that opens up the pool to say, hey, we can now play enchanters. And knowing that Gala would love to have a Lulu paired up with something like a Jinx, that gets denied as the premier support for a hyper carry.
So my concern here is Blitzcrank. Now, it's still open, but it's the tried and true combo for getting, getting rid of Lulu lanes, essentially. So something that Meiko could look towards. I like the idea of taking the Jinx here and removing that pairing, that duo that can be so powerful. But there are plenty of other Zeri lanes or Lulu lanes rather, that you can look to. Zeri notably one of them. I mean, you've got the option of things like the Twitch, but when the Jinx is available, I do think that Lulu's Jinx is just the way to go. And that Maokai as well for IG, very flexible, can be played top jungle or support. We've already seen it piloted by Meiko in that support role. I think that versus a Lulu Jinx, it's probably going to do a little worse than you might have anticipated or might like to. So probably going to be seeing Jiejie on that this time round, maybe even TheShy.
And I like the awareness from IG to snipe away this Maokai too, because in a world where there's no... Whoa! Wait. I'll finish my point.
Insta-locked. Insta-locked, by the way.
Yumi for Meiko. Guys, if we're talking about World Championship skins, we saw the IG Kaisa last game. We're going to get the EDG Yumi for Meiko.
Okay. We're throwing a little bit of caution to the wind with our bot lane duos, and Zeri is a champion that had been largely left under the radar, I think, for this year, but with a small buff to Yuntal on 21.2, I think. A lot of these AD carries started just Yuntal Rush as your first item. Zeri is one of those champions that can get away with it and that will do very well, especially with a Yumi on their back as well. It's a full-on disaster because we used to hate seeing these bot lane duos come out, to be honest with you, Mark, but it's one that Gala and Meiko will look to find success on here.
Good awareness
from IG.
What
else they've done as well, sorry, they've taken the Maokai for themselves. What point and click is left? Vi's gone, Nautilus is gone.
Exactly.
Where are they going to go?
Yeah, I mean, in a landscape where there's no cease and desist available now, Maokai was pretty much your only tool available that could have locked down something mobile like a Zeri. I mean, point-and-click stuns now, I'm racking my brain. Even no Pantheon either. That would have been like another tool.
Look at the bans from IG. They knew what they were looking for here. Galio Camille taken off the board, right? Like, they've taken both parts of that combo and just said, absolutely not. So, for the time being, really in love with how IG have looked to facilitate this Zeri, and the fact that they've done it in a later part of a Fearless draft has opened them up for this, because those other point and clicks have been taken off the board. For top, though, still need to try and find something that they can look at as that point and click CC, or the easy to land CC, if nothing else. Orianna locked in for IG, so they've got that staple mid laner, leaving the counter pick for TheShy.
Do it. If he locks in this Akali, it would be such a high contention point for this game, because an assassin with a point-and-click ulti on the first cast, and one of the last champions that could have a point-and-click stun in this Renekton that is currently being hovered for top esports will be the lock-in. But the thing is, this Maokai might not even be the top lane matchup. It could be flexed to Jiejie in the jungle, and now TheShy is thinking about what he wants to use to take on the Renekton in the top lane.
And again, I would hate to see this Maokai go into the Renekton, to be honest with you. So if this is a Wukong, it's possible that it goes into the top lane. But Jiejie Wukong, again, a champion that we've seen so frequently, and so much success has come from that. We've picked ourselves up now this incredible wombo combo of Wukong Orianna, where if you find just one snap engage, one snap fight, doesn't matter that Crisp has got infinite amounts of shielding, healing, and all that power. If you get one shot from a Wukong Ori combo, what are you going to do? You're just going to get taken out, and there's nothing really as an answer. I do like what Top Esports responded with, though, Mark. You highlighted it perfectly. We've got point-and-click ulti on Akali, same for Renekton with his stun, and the Polymorph as well in the laning phase is going to have a decent amount of priority, so Gala might well be forced to look into something like a cleanse this game and pray for heal barrier.
And I want to highlight that this has to be a big game for Creme, because in Game 3 on the Tristana, when the gates were pretty much open for Top Esports to net this series and advance into the next round of the lower bracket, everything looked completely okay for them. IG blasted them, and Creme, probably the first big stumble in this series, multiple fail flashes into the wall, looking like he was succumbing to the pressure that IG was leveraging. What a way to bounce back, to go back to something that was signature for him during his days on OMG. When we think about what this guy was notable for, it was the melee champions, the assassins, Yone and Akali. We already saw the Yone in Game 1 and how he flourished. He was immaculate on the Rift. Can he deliver again on his Akali this time around?
That's exactly what I wanted to highlight, right? Like, the game that we've seen Creme look the best was when he could take the game into his own hands, when he had the Yone and was able to start popping off. This time round, again, Xin Zhao Akali, that pairing, the mid-jungle duo, definitely something that I, as an Orianna player, would be terrified to try and look at once I got that level 6 marker. But Jiejie Rookie, this Wukong Ori combo, again, another duo that can quite easily find a decent amount of success. Top Esports, though, again, level 1, established vision. Let's see where lanes are going. Are we going to get our 4th consecutive lane swap, or with double enchanters, are we going to be blessed into allowing a 2 versus 2 and a 1 versus 1?
Oh, this is interesting. 369 has routed off TheShy, and the rest of Top Esports were ready to collapse to see if TheShy was going to get caught in between 2 towers here, but he smells something's off, retreats back to the safety of the first tower, but that gives a window for IG to at least lay down some aggressive vision of their own in the red quadrant of Top Esports.
Yeah, so early vision, you know, much deeper for Top Esports as well. Got one all the way into the laning phase, has got complete dominion over that top side as well. They will know who enters that top lane and when. By Gala and Meiko not showing at all, it insinuates to top that they are going to be going bot lane, and looks like JackeyLove and Crisp are going to look to match it. There is no split map, and if Jiejie gets delayed here, this is going to cost him relatively large amounts of time, because he's got to walk from this red buff all the way back over to his blue, and in that time, Kanavi probably has this red buff taken and can be just that little bit faster on the camp.
Yep, and the early clear from Wukong is not the fastest, especially after the nerfs that he got just a patch ago on this Wukong. So for IG, a little bit of a slower start for their jungler, and we're going to have normal lanes for the first time this series, Rude.
So, not honestly the worst thing in the world for Invictus Gaming. I like the Yumi versus the Lulu just because you can sit at large range. That prowling projectile is very obnoxious to try and lane against in general. IG, they do get level 2. They were able to get into that lane a little bit sooner. The trade-off of Jiejie having to concede his way into his own jungle was that the bot lane, JackeyLove and Chris, spent a little bit of time forcing him out. But on that top side, I will say, definitely favour the Renekton versus Maokai in the early stages of this game. TheShy definitely going to have to put up with a pretty difficult amount of damage, really, coming from the Renekton early. And Kanavi already looking to make a way into this bot side jungle. Again, a reminder, not expecting 369 to lose push on that top side, so any camps Kanavi can steal, he can probably defend the equivalent on his side.
Now, this is such a great read. I mean, now Kanavi going to be able to yoink a couple of these camps, and Jiejie, if he is completely unsuspecting that Kanavi went in for a steal, it looks like he just took the Gromp, just looping back around. He is level 3, could look to threaten Orianna early on and just burn a flash to set up Creme for that level 6 all-in even more easily. Kanavi, when he becomes lightning, does not land. Good sidestep by Rookie to dodge it.
But by showing he gives away that he invaded as well, they'll look, okay, 15 camps, that means, or 15 CS, that means he's done 4 camps and he's only been on his bot side. Where's that 4th camp come from? It means that he's going to have lost out on some of his bot side jungle, but the response from IG, non-existent. So far in this game, just a slow, methodical approach to the early game without any of these lane swaps where we're looking for trades of different resources into different players. And it's IG just barely falling behind the curve, and all of this coming out of Kanavi.
Jiejie is not going to have the opportunity to hit level 4 off of his full clear since one of those camps was taken. As you can see in that lower third, the fact that Jiejie was spotted on his way up towards the top side of the map before that ward died, that gave the information Kanavi needed to be able to make that steal happen. Jiejie manages to take the crab on the bot side, but still not level 4 quite yet, so not nearly as much power to threaten on the bottom side, but even then, no dive potential is really that strong for Wukong before level 6, and especially if you don't have support CC set up with the Yumi.
So early recall came through in this mid lane for Creme. Rookie, he will look like he's low on HP, but he's not burned his teleport yet. So any of these trades that we get to see Rookie find are going to be favourable for him, so long as he doesn't die. 369 finding a good trade on that top side as well. But again, a reminder that this is IG looking to find their way back into this series. But all of these trades, again, want to highlight, these aren't bad trades for Rookie. As long as he doesn't die, sacrificing his health is absolutely fine, because he'll be able to base TP back in and then have a HP advantage once he's recalled.
Creme is really trying to threaten Rookie, but the electrocute keystone was already used, so it's just waiting on cooldown. Doesn't look like there was an opportunity to actually find that lethal all-in window. Rookie still had a flash to play with, but as you called out, Rookie is biding his time, and the fact that he's able to find these trades on Creme while up a teleport puts him in such a good state, because Creme can't really threaten Rookie quite yet. No level 6 either to force the flash or find a kill threat. He really needs the help from maybe Kanavi to set up and burn a summoner spell to make it even easier.
So no dive, no success, and Creme now going to struggle a little bit in this mid lane. Big TP from Rookie straight on top of these minions, and Creme will be able to pick them up.
Oh, Shockwave just to force a little bit of extra HP. The Shuriken backflip, he goes back in, and he forces the flash because Kanavi was waiting in the shadows just to see if he could punish, and Rookie forced the flash.
And just a small hover there cost Rookie his flash. Was looking with his ulti, maybe on that recall could have found a kill. Not quite able to make it work, and now again, it's Jiejie on the wrong side of the map to the objective that Kanavi's looking for. Looks like they are just going to trade, but you can already see JackeyLove and Crisp in this mid lane, so a little bit of a move up to this top side to ensure they secure the Krugs, or the Grubs rather. Again, 369 coming out largely on top in these trades, already up a couple of CS.
Level 6.
Has ulti, but it's going to struggle.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to force the all-in with a Dominus on TheShy. I mean, you are Renekton, but also you're playing into Maokai, who has a lot of CC and ways to just stall for the turret damage to do all the killing for you to ramp up. Now, rest of IG trying to dissuade top esports from taking this dragon. It looks like Kanavi only took one grub and then beelined it back to the river to deny them that dragon.
Yeah, so Kanavi wants to give nothing this game, right? Like, he can just slowly whittle away at those grubs. If he takes one at a time, then that's also absolutely fine, but he doesn't want to give Jiejie any way back into this game. Look for pushing mid lane, move your way up to that top side. They've got top prio permanently with 369, so they're never going to lose out on those grubs. But what if they can steal away a camp? What if they can find these grubs uncontested and then look to contest on the Drake as well? They'll happily sacrifice Creme for a little bit here. He's done the hard part where he's had to lane versus Orianna and not go down. Successful benchmark. Now he's got to do it versus the Zeri and the Yumi, which is a much easier type of fight.
It's actually a really cool trade from top esports, because normally once you send your duo mid lane, you would expect that the opposition would do the same. Otherwise, you lose prio for both the objectives. However, they don't want to put Rookie, who's down a flash, into a side lane where Creme has both flash and ult advantage, because then that puts Rookie in and, oh, wait a minute, he's going to go in looking for Jiejie or trying to force him off the dragon. The Shockwave pulls him back in, and he's got Yumi to at least give him a little bit of extra heals. He secures the dragon. Creme is forced to flash over the wall, but Jiejie's going to flash over and follow up. Cyclone for the kill. First blood goes over to IG. Maybe Creme just went a little too deep. 369 trying to get the retribution kill, but he's not going to find it. And Gala's now got the pepper fire to be able to push them back.
And in and out. I'm not sure what Creme was thinking as he goes in 1 versus 4, maybe even 2 versus 4, you could argue, but gets exhausted and gets absolutely cleaned. Akali not having the impact that it would have wanted in that fight, and JackeyLove and Chris were able to take a couple of plates up on this top side, but in exchange for losing the dragon, getting a kill onto the Jinx, onto the Zeri as well. This is a full-on disaster for top, and again, you just have to wonder what his intention was, because Meiko hops on, pops in an exhaust, and it's just like you've got no opportunity to find Jiejie here, who dings level 6 from taking down the dragon. Level up gives him Cyclone, and gives him a little bit more durability as well.
Yeah. I'm so puzzled. We knew that this Akali would have an advantage into Rookie for the next couple of minutes, who is down a flash, and I figured that maybe that's what Top Esports would just be more patient for. I don't know what the call was, thinking that, you know, Creme could pull off something in a 1v4, or at least get a lot of health bars threatened so that the collapse from Kanavi was coming in, but maybe it was just a distinct call or just a little head rush from Creme there, but just kind of throwing away a potential advantage that they could have had in the side lane play.
And again, speaks to the consistency issues that we've been looking at for Top Esports. They're looking to secure themselves a matchup against NIP for the first time this year, where IG are looking to, you know, keep their tournament lives alive, but also redeem themselves for their first best of 5 that they played in the LPL. Another matchup against NIP, one where, in fairness, Doinby, you know, our current MVP, is coming off of the run of a really rough series just yesterday. So definitely an opportunity for the winner of this series to be able to capitalize. And I think, you know, regardless of the way that this series goes, I think the discussion around the mid lane is going to be incredibly important. Whoever has to play against Doinby is now TheShy looking for a 369 gank.
Yeah, 369 definitely in trouble. Pops the Dominus, but he's going to get locked down by the Maokai CC, and the Cyclone just bops him up to Kingdom Come. IG up 2-0 on the board.
And it's double kills for Jiejie once again. This Wukong going to hit that Trinity Force nice and early, and that gives them control over this mid game without doubt. Jinx, until she hits that 2-3 item marker, is not going to have the same amount of control, not the same amount of power as a Wukong, and even with a Lulu in their back pocket, it's going to be really tricky for this Wukong not to just steamroll through the backline. That pairing on top of a Maokai that will go in, Shockwave as well, and now Kanavi forcing Shy's flash, but not going to be too much else to get from this. Very happy with IG.
Unless, no, he's got the third cast of the 3-town strike, and 369 is able to slice and dice his way through the minion wave, but TheShy is still too damn tanky to take down. Kanavi and 369 are going to brute force it, and they find the kill, and Jiejie, no Cyclone, can't stop it from happening. Crisp with the polymorph is going to lock down Rookie, and go! Oh, JackeyLove with the super mega death rocket finds Rookie, target on lock, and Crisp even gets the wild growth to get the knock-up as well.
Battle Yumi there, a really good shockwave from Rookie, stops Creme from getting involved and keeps that Akali about out of, you know, reach in particular of the 1v1. But Crisp just walks up, battle Lulu, takes down Rookie. Maybe you were targeting the wrong person with the shockwave. He absolutely wasn't, but it was a really nice little play there, and a quick little sequence for Top Esports puts them back in the advantage with the gold. Creme able to find a plate on this top side as well. So despite the best efforts of Rookie, you know, all of that gold that we're now seeing on Jiejie, he's going to have to put it to good use because there are carries across the map that are starting to get a little bit more fed.
Jiejie finds his way onto the top side, and as you called it, Rude, an early Trinity Force spike. I mean, yes, Sunder Sky has been completed for Kanavi, but Trinity Force is just a little bit more expensive, and that more impressive when you're able to complete it this early on, under 12 minutes. And you're going to use that power to take the second rotation of Grubs, but a teleport is coming in from Creme. He's not had the best of showing on the Akali so far. The first fight of the Dragon was not living up to what we know this guy can perform on with the Akali, but this time around, the pressure alone at the teleport forces the rest of the members of IG away from the Grubs, and it gives Top Esports the window to secure 5.
And a reminder as well that this is IG down elimination game and an elimination match. If they lose here, they go home, don't play till April. An organization, again, so frequently building up on their LDL rosters and being that organization that will build up from the ground up. This time, 2025, splurged out on a massive super team roster that are already in the lower bracket, that already struggled through the group stage, and are struggling in a game 4 where if they lose, they go home, up against the Top Esports roster who are also, you know, looking to write their own story and reforge their own path. But a failing here for IG is a failing for an organization and a failing for a lot of fans.
They were able to pull off a miracle in Game 3. Can they do it again? Jiejie flashes in, doesn't get the smite. It's Kanavi that secures the Dragon. Flash, 3-town strike, finds the backline, and disrupts Gala from being able to participate for the rest of the game. Now Jiejie tries to find the shockwave, only pulls one in, but Creme is now threatening the backline. Finds Rookie this time around. Gala forced to retreat. The rest of IG scatter like the wind, and Top Esports find the big fight.
And just like that, that date with NIP becomes that much more tantalizing for Top Esports, coming away with a couple of kills there. JackeyLove finding the reset, not getting the kills, but able to start popping off once he gets there. 5 versus 5 for the first time, and Top Esports are the ones that look to have come out on top. A couple of plates going to be picked up as well. Nice attempt at the steal from Jiejie, but this time round, Kanavi the one able to come up trumps and pick it up.
We're going to take a look back at that replay once again. Jiejie fancies his opportunity to smite steal away, just not at the right time.
Yeah, 7 HP off of the perfect calculation, but not quite able to make it. Again, JackeyLove at this entire time, not really under threat. You can see TheShy looks to put some damage down onto Crisp as opposed to the Jinx, and as soon as that first reset comes through, is largely unchecked. And as much as we've been criticizing Creme for his early game fighting and the decision making that he'd made, in that fight right there, popped up, did exactly what he needed to, and found a couple of kills for his squad.
The bounce back that you want to see if you are a Creme fan or if you're a top esports fan, knowing that Creme has made such a big name for himself throughout his OMG days on this champion. That first Dragon fight, very questionable, but bounces back with a great strike and being able to eliminate one of the big carries for IG, and now finds himself with a Proto Belt and Sorcerer's Boots to boot. This is a great spike for Akali to work with. The Electrocute, a Keystone, alongside other domination keystones were buffed on this patch in particular. This is a chance where assassins can thrive in a scenario where there's so many squishy targets to choose.
Gala gets away from the Flame Chompers there, and again for top esports, hold on, Kanavi.
Gala forced the flash. That's good for top esports. It forces out Meiko's ultimate as well. And now that's something that top esports can play around for the next objective fight. Rift Herald spawning in 30 seconds. Dragon in a couple minutes and a half. I imagine the top esports, everyone's pinging like, hey guys, Zeri, no flash. Take this guy out of the fight.
And honestly, the way that I've seen these teams evolve, you know, even just in when I've crossed and seen it from a Western perspective, no flash on Gala is a good enough reason for IG to not fight, and they will probably take that as Kanavi now hovering down on the spot side. Dominus is up.
Shy's chunked, but using that passive sustains a bit of HP and clears the wave beautifully. IG, knowing that Kanavi showed himself on the bottom side of the map, they're going to TP, see if they can blitz the Rift Herald before Kanavi can work his way back up.
Yeah, there's going to be a wave to catch top lane, so it's a little tricky for Rookie to fully commit to this, but fortunately they've got push in mid lane as well. They've leveraged this little show from Kanavi, and now he's doubling down on that. Turret is going to be the focus with Demolish, but they could get TheShy as well. That would have been great. First brick going to go down in exchange for the Herald, so they'll take that trade.
No way.
Unable to secure it. Okay.
Whew. Yeah, the Rift Herald, thankfully for IG, secured before the Super Mega Death Rocket even left JackeyLove's big gun. Now, top esports having to manage for themselves for the next couple of minutes, or minute and a half, I should say, before the Dragon comes up. Gala still playing it safe relatively in the mid lane, but still won't have that Summoner spell available by the time we get to the third Dragon.
And top esports on the right track here to send themselves to that date with NIP, a team again that found themselves shockingly in the lowest bracket, but taking a series versus anyone's legend, one of those rematches of the Demacia Cup finals. They weren't able to come out on top in the best of 5 then, and they didn't in LPL this time round either. Until, you know, anyone's legend showed up, they went to the Worlds, in 2024, were a team that, again, were expected great things of, and in fairness to them, they only lost to T1. Through Swiss stage, they went 3-1, lost to T1 in that, got to the quarterfinals, drew T1 and got 0-3'd out of that group. Their job for 2025 is an image rehabilitation because the LCK tore them apart. They were supposed to be, you know, a really powerful team in the LPL, but finding themselves in this lower bracket to begin with is a shock for everybody, shock for top fans. And the better way to write that story and to correct that narrative would have been to go into the upper bracket, but a win versus IG, this newly formed super team, can help assuage those issues, can help write that story, and IG looking at least sniffing around a fight for this Dragon to potentially put those concerns back into top fans.
Yeah, top esports doing a good job of canceling out any vision plans that IG had for this river control. Jiejie gonna snipe out this control ward. A good blue ward from IG gives a momentary vision of JackeyLove and Chris as they are forced to retreat back to the mid lane and catch it, so they can maintain mid-prio. Rookie still waiting in the shadows. Glimpses Kanavi with a good command shot.
So, TheShy has TP. Going to be immediately called for as well. Shows his face in the mid lane. 5v5, second one of the game. Still very much up for grabs.
Ooh, good flash by JackeyLove. Avoids the shockwave. That's a big ultimate down away from Rookie. IG now down only to 4 powerful spells that they have at their disposal. 369.
He's
coming in the right side, but he's in vision. 3k HP, Jiejie trying to gain vision around the corner. 1300, Kanavi secures it. Creme threatening on the left side, and Jiejie using the clone to buy some time, but they are in full retreat mode. Kanavi using the power of that crescent guard. Once again, flashing on the Gala. Creme goes flying in and sends him back to the graveyard, and he's out of there, baby. Creme not even threatened. Jiejie now under fire as he tries to look for a straggler and seeing if he can get away. The prowling projectile not going to be enough to take out Creme, but another big fight for top esports and one step closer to eliminating IG.
It's another knock for Invictus Gaming, and again, it just looks like their tournament lives, their run-in split one of the LPL is coming to a close. Creme dancing on Invictus Gaming in that final fight, set up by Kanavi, and it's again this mid-jungle duo that we were looking to in Game 1 and 2 and said they played incredibly well, that we were looking to in the first Group A, where they were struggling and we're like, this is how you're winning games, you just need to leverage that. Smite goes in for Kanavi. He preps his Q off of the clone here, and then looks to flash immediately onto Gala with it. 1, 2, flash knock up, immediate dart in from the rest of the team as well. Everybody collapses and everybody goes for Gala.
Ooh. And Creme with that slick second cast just barely escapes the prowling projectile that might have just ended his life, and still dancing with his food as the rest of IG limp, completely battered and bruised out of another dragon fight.
2 items now hit for Jiejie, for Gala. Sometimes those breakpoints are what you're looking at, and Gala, again, reminder, had no flash from her fight so much earlier on in the mid lane that we kind of had forgotten it had happened, but Gala didn't have his flash available for that fight, and you know, you're looking at why teams don't take fights when their flash is down. That's a perfect example, because top esports have extended that lead. They've made the likelihood of them facing NIP that little bit more likely. Final nail in the coffin, be another big team fight going for top esports, but for the time being they'll settle with an attempt on this mid-tier one.
Yeah, they have so many tools at their disposal. 5 Void Grubs now picked up, but they get another big fight. Even though Baron is not available or Otacon has not been taken off the board yet, they could easily blitz through a tower or two, depending on how many members they take off of IG's side of the field. The Rift Herald charge. Oh, Kanavi setting himself up to push Jiejie back in with the Crescent Guard, but he might have overextended here. And the threat of the consistency that we have seen from top esports fails to live up here as Kanavi
just the entirely wrong way to go about that. You have Jinx. You can never Rift Herald in front of a Jinx because she puts the Flame Chompers behind where the Herald's going to land. You get rooted immediately. They just completely flub the execution on that. Now, no jungler. You mentioned the Otacon hadn't been taken just yet. Well, IG, they've spotted a window. They've taken down the enemy jungler, and they're going to look to take it themselves. Eyes on Creme here. Everybody's MR is getting shredded. He's teleported in. He's on the top side of this fight. Through this choke, top esports, they force IG at least to stop it for the time being.
Shockwave pulls it. JackeyLove, big pickup for IG. 369 has got to salvage this fight. Creme comes in with the perfect execution. He's dancing on them. He finds a 5 shuriken strike, takes out the jungler to the 80 carry, and there's no chance for an Otacon take now.
Okay, Rookie has been lethal with these shockwaves, has forced JackeyLove's flash the first time with it, and then picks him up in that fight as well. Creme comes in to save the day. The Otacon won't go down, and it's the mid laner for top esports that's redeeming his jungler's actions in that instance, as Kanavi costs quite a bit in that mid lane, and IG not going down without a fight once again here. We thought as they went down 0-2 in this series, maybe it was just going to be top taking a 3-0. Quick early dinner for them, but not going to be the case, and even in this game, when they're down, they are still not out. It's Rookie finding the engage. That shockwave takes out Jiejie, and Creme again diving in amongst 3, 4, 5 members, but this time he's got the items, this time he's got the support, and this time he's able to find a couple of kills as well.
Yeah, this is an Akali that hasn't even finished their second item yet in the Shadow Flame, but the fact that they've been able to rack up a lot of the levels and get even more damage just off of base stats alone, plus the increasing stacks on this Dark Seal is giving Akali that extra oomph to really finish off the rest of any stragglers from IG. And remember, there's only one tank on the side of this composition in this Maokai. Everyone else is Akali fodder.
And honestly, as well, if the Akali is trying to focus them out, guys, something has gone extremely wrong. So, eyes on Creme to look for those champions that should be getting taken down by the Akali. I also want to highlight that the side lane for top esports as well goes pretty well, right? You mentioned Creme versus Rookie. That's going to be an easy matchup for Creme. And so far, this game specifically has been a story of those two mid laners. Rookie forcing flash out of JackeyLove. Creme destroying IG's backline. Finally, we get to see the caliber of these two mid laners matched up against each other.
Jiejie with the flank. Doesn't want to take it. Kanavi now forcing the fight here. Creme is in the back
Creme's
line
on
once again.
Gala.
And this time he has the stasis to buy even more time. Now it's 369. Time to shine as he dives into the back line. Creme supports him.
Gala's
goes
alive.
for the circuit backflip. Rookie is able to disengage with a good flash. The rest of top esports are content with the fact that Jiejie's gone and they can look at the dragon.
They expended a lot to try and get on top of Gala, who uses his flash to get out to safety. But like you say, top esports again, despite not getting the priority target, they get the secondary one. Jungler down now for another 18 seconds. Dragon will go their way, and TheShy sniffing around.
He flashed away from the chompers before it could snag him up, but that was a good time. Now, IG, they're still down a jungler for 6 seconds at top esports. Might even fancy just trying to burn the Otacon as fast as possible and just bait IG in.
I like this fight. Gala has no ulti, so TheShy can't fight nearly as effectively. No shockwave for Rookie either. Going to be definitely tricky for them to get in and get out unscathed.
Creme is walking back. He doesn't have ulti for the next 10 seconds, but if they can stall enough time... Oh, Gala gets snagged by the chompers. Kanavi looking for it. He already burned down the Otacon, and Gala's gone. Once again, TheShy, no flash this time around. He is a dead tree, and top esports riveting through the battlefield, and they're well on their way to eliminating IG.
And just one misstep from Gala, catches himself on some flame chompers. JackeyLove pops them down as a little zoning tool and catches an absolute big one. Gala with a rare misstep there. Costs his team significantly now. Down 5,500 gold down the Otacon, and Creme sniffing for Jiejie.
Oh, does he kill it? Oh my gosh, that was just one first cast, but he's got a cat now. And it's a lot more difficult to assassinate him. Even JackeyLove threw in the Mega Death Rocket just in case Creme wanted to go for the assassination, but gonna call it off. Does not want to take any chances and throw the game now when they have such a massive lead.
So 1 minute 40 still with these fake deaths, and with that massive gold lead as well. Question becomes, what do they want to try and take from this? Another replay of how we started off with this team fight. Jackie puts down the chompers, and Gala not able to get out in time. Hit by the slow after the fact. 369, Ruthless Predator right on top of him. And I'll say thank you very much. Gala with no flash had no chance of getting out of there, and you know, Meiko immediately, as soon as his AD carry hits those chompers, he's like, yep, you die. Unfortunately, that was your misstep.
Kanavi's back into the back line, but this time, top esports are well right there for the support. No chance for a flub. Shockwave pulls in JackeyLove. No flash available. Kanavi sends it right onto Jiejie. He's got a cat for support, but the cat is not doing enough as Jiejie is under fire, and he is speared to the ground. Gala now firing back with the ultimate charged up. But it's not enough for IG to regain ground in top esports. This Baron could be theirs.
And Top are playing so beautifully. Shy now in trouble.
369 threatening Rookie. Joe goes through TheShy first, and this tree is completely cut down. Top esports find another front line for grabs. IG scrambling in what could be their last game of the split.
Yeah, Top have played against Zeri so many times. We had this the entirety of Season 14. Gala pops ulti, they back away. The second it wears off, they reset, they go forward once again. Jungle are dead, top lane are dead, Baron on the map.
And you just have to imagine, Rude, with 8,000 gold, 3 dragons to their name, Baron for the next 3 minutes, Mountain Soul spawning in 2 minutes. This is just one good fight away for top esports to advance to the lower bracket, to meet NIP, and to send IG home.
So many fans of this IG organization looking on, probably in despair, as you know, split number 1 promised so much for them with this new super team of, you know, double world champions coming back from their solo lanes 2018, the familiar favourites, Rookie, who'd been such a standout in the LPL for so many years at this point. TheShy coming back from a year out from competitive, and for them to fall in the first round of playoffs, starting in the lower bracket, having lost to an NIP team that people didn't expect a lot from. will not be the answer to how they thought Split 1 was going to go. But Top Esports, that date with NIP is looking tantalizing, and they fully intend on turning up. After a shaky Worlds performance, having a tough loss versus the eventual champions, it's good to see them right those woes in this best of 5. Game number 1 and 2, they had to fight for it tooth and nail, but game 3, when they got absolutely slammed, has reset them a little bit. Game 4 feels a lot more controlled, but equally a lot more in their hands as well.
And Top Esports with this Baron buff are just barreling through the bot lane, engaging right on top of TheShy. Just not tanky enough to survive the onslaught. This could be the end. Kanavi sends it once again. Gala trying to buy distance, using the power of the Zeri and the Yumi combo. 369 and Creme threatening forward. They find Gala once again. This is it. Rookie and Meiko, the last 2 members standing. But Top Esports are strong as 5, and JackeyLove is letting them rip with the rockets as Rookie is forced to flash down to the last legs. It's not going to be enough. IG gave it their all, but their all wasn't enough. Top Esports sent IG out in the first split of the LPL and advanced to the lower bracket.
Top Esports, with a shaky game 3, immediately reset, immediately decide that they are taking this series. They're playing against NIP, and their run in Split 1 of the LPL does not end there. A great performance from Top, start to finish, slow but methodical, and this time they ramped up at the right time also. Resets coming through for Gala at just the wrong time, unfortunately, and it's JackeyLove that was able to start jinxing everywhere, catching people off guard, flame chompers to catch out Gala in one of the most pivotal fights that you could have thought to see, and then they just ran away with it. Jinx Lulu, baby, it was all there.
And given how slippery a Zeri can be in ideal scenarios, Top Esports made it look damn easy catching Gala out time and time again. I'm just completely floored how well Top Esports were able to bounce back and come together after what was the most dominant game in the entire series in that game 3, and it came at the victory and triumph of IG. We were almost concerned that Top Esports were going to be completely shaken, but they showed that their composure endured long enough to be able to come back in game 4 with a strong game plan. Probably one of the best early games out of Kanavi on the Xin Zhao, and just denying Jiejie so many camps. And even though Creme, a little bit of stumble on that first fight, he delivered on that signature Akali for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think that was a big turning point for Creme. Again, one of those oopsie-daisy moments where he's gone into 4 people and died immediately. That righted his ship immediately. He was like, okay, can't do that again, and didn't. Knew exactly what his limits were from there on in, and made sure that he was pumping out the damage in those team fights when it was necessary. A true standout performance for Creme. I think in all 3 of their wins was one of the players that you should be really highlighting and looking towards for Top Esports as that carrier in your mid lane, right? That's what you need, and Creme, after having a pretty shaky end to 2024, needs these types of games for people to be sort of, I'll call it, reinvigorated by his performance and have hope and hype for this player again.
I mean, there is a reason why Top Esports sought to sign him after his long growth and cultivation on OMG. They know that Creme has the potential to be one of the best mid laners, not just in the LPL, but in the entire world. He made a name for himself on some of the most flashiest characters in the game, and he's been able to develop his champion pool into the standard control mages and show that he can be a well-rounded player. Obviously, there's still a little bit of growing pains of adjusting to, frankly, a quite high caliber team, or a higher caliber team, in an environment where now the expectations are higher and less forgiving. But, one world championship stint, it's not going to be enough to put this guy down after not being able to go further after facing the eventual world champions in T1. Creme stumbling through a little bit of the group stage, but he puts on a massive overall series performance against IG today.
Yeah, and I think as well, the idea that this Top Esports roster has, gone through so many iterations, and that this is the one that they landed on for 2025. You've obviously got this, the jungle Kanavi, who, coming from JDG, where he was franchised JDG player, was their landmark of a jungler, came over to Top, struggled right in the lower bracket to begin with, and then had a mammoth performance now on the Nidalee, finding some great successes on the Xin Zhao as well, showing that yes, JDG are finding success without him, but he's also finding that success. Top esports for me, again, the journey is nowhere near over. They've got one long gauntlet, one long bracket that they've got to run. Begins with a match here against IG, continues with one against NIP, and again, it's just formidable foe after formidable foe. The LPL is so stacked that this still feels like a upset, maybe that Invictus Gaming go out in the first round of the lower bracket. Like, you wouldn't have called that at the start of the year.
Yeah, and it just goes to speak how rough the competition is for the first split of the LPL season, because all the expected top teams ended up being in a second seed in the lower bracket. I mean, BLG, for God's sake, ended up in the lower bracket because they got upset by frickin' ThunderTalk, who bested them in all full 5 games. And that really put a reality check into BLG's heads and saying, hey guys, we need to lock in. You know, we can't let ThunderTalk upset us of all teams. And that puts, you know, names like obviously IG, Top Esports, BLG, and Weibo, who were all pretty much favorites and representatives at the World Championship this past year, or save IG. But, I mean, the 3 of those teams being World Championship contenders last year, being in the lower bracket, we have a landscape where the first seeds are teams like Anyone's Legend, NIP, and ThunderTalk. I mean, it just goes to show that this first title could go to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, there were... I guess conversations about the upper bracket match that we had yesterday, right? The NIP AL series, and the odds of that being a potential rematch for later on down the line, because the NIP squad are to be feared, right? They have the MVP on their side. They've got Doinby, who'd been supposedly the best performing mid laner of the group stage. So there are so many things that these teams need to think about, and that Top, especially going into their matchup versus NIP, need to think about. And I love the idea that Creme had a standout performance here. If this had been a game and a series where he'd been sort of dragged along the line by JackeyLove and Gala, or JackeyLove, and Kanavi, there'd be some concerns going in. But in my opinion, Doinby is coming off of a pretty rough series as well, where he was, you know, a defeated person. He lost out in that series, but he's now got to play up against Creme, who's off the back of a very solid performance, a very solid series that they won.
Yeah, and when you look at the strengths of what Creme has to offer for his team and what Doinby offers for NIP, it's, you know, night and day difference. Doinby has said himself, like, hey, you know what? My hands aren't like what they used to be back in the day, but I am here to elevate the rest of my team and give them the best guide that I can. And he does really bring out the best of NIP, which is what led to them having such a monumental and historic group stage performance, being victorious over what everyone predicted to be the favorites in IG in that group. And the fact that you pointed out Doinby not having the greatest of series, this is a chance where Creme can try and expose that threat. Like, yeah, maybe Creme is not nearly as experienced as Doinby, world champion with 2019 FPX, and has the experience as well to be able to elevate the rest of his team, since he's one of the newer players on this roster. But that doesn't mean that Creme can't just go hand-to-hand combat with him and throw down with the Yone or the Akali, as we saw in this series, and say, all right, Doinby, let's really check those hands. Let's see if you can match me, old man.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's a matchup that we'll have to look forward to a little bit later on in the week. And, you know, for Top Esports as well, I think the idea that we got to see carries from multiple areas as well. I think that there was marked growth in this series versus what we saw from them in Group A. Crisp on the engages looked a lot better overall. We got to see Kanavi popping off in a few games. We got to see JackeyLove single-handedly win game number 2 with his Jhin. Like, there were so many different experiences for Top Esports fans to be happy about going into this. And I don't think 369 ever really let the team down in this game either. Was maybe a little more along for the ride than the rest, but wasn't given the resources to be that show-off player, was just doing what he needed to and being where he needed to be.
I mean, what I've come to expect from 369 from his run with JDG over the years, and yeah, shout out to Creme, being able to deliver. I mean, he had to put on that kind of performance in order to bring Top Esports over the finish line. If you lock in Akali so that you can threaten the backline like that, this is what you should be expecting.
Yeah, and I mean, he did exactly that, right? You can see that the damage per gold percentage is always one of my most favorite stats that you can go for. Anything over 100% is really good. Anything over 130 is incredible. And that, 135%, he's doing so much with with what he got, he does more, which is always really important for me. And I'm looking at how well we saw Creme pop off this game and thinking, like we've said, it's gonna be good to see him versus Doinby. It's that old guard LPL versus the rising star of Creme.
That's right. So much to look forward to for the rest of the week now that we have gone through our first round of the upper bracket and our first round of the lower bracket, where we will have an upper bracket final at some point between Anyone's Legend and JDG. But of course, we got to get through our next 2 rounds of the lower bracket before we even show the upper bracket, and that's all going to start with BLG rematch against ThunderTalk to see if they can get vengeance for being bested in the group stage, a historic upset from a team of BLG's caliber against someone like ThunderTalk, who has never even finished above 11th place on average in their history as an org. And then of course, NIP versus Top Esports as well, another banger that will surely deliver.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, right, for BLG as well, I think this is an incredibly tight turnaround, right? Like, they played versus Weibo a few hours ago. And, this time tomorrow, we're expecting them to have put on a series versus TT as well. So there's a very tight turnaround for them. This playoff bracket is not forgiving for the lower bracket teams. And BLG, I think they've drawn the worst end of this more so than anything. But that's something that you're just going to have to try and contend with. And, hey, if you didn't want to be in that part, you should have won your game in the group stage anyway.
True.